Wondering how you should price your property to sell? I've got 3 strategies and 3 real-life recent examples to share with you on today's video. Okay, strategy number 1 is we could go really, really low like this little plant here. Now, we can go low. Most sellers are like, heck to the no, that's scary to price it too low to get a lot of interest, to get, you know, the most interest you're going to get is during the first 2 weeks of a brand new listing. Let's stand in the shade. It's so hot. So being a new listing, you do want to price it right. So when you price it low, you might have a ton of activity, you might have multiple offers, and it's probably going to be a little overwhelming no matter the market. So, and again, most sellers are not inclined to price it too low. So let's see, here's a real life example. Okay, real life example number 1 of when a property was priced too low recently. It was a beachside condo that was probably priced maybe, I'm thinking $25,000 under-ish. So in that case, I actually represented the buyer. They had 8 offers. We ended up going for well over asking price. And in that case, you know, it was a unique situation because not only was there a tenant, and it was really hard to get into. So essentially all of these offers were also sight unseen. I'm sure the seller's happy, but I do think it was priced a little low. I mean, maybe that was their strategy, but it certainly created a frenzy and definitely multiple offers, even in the dead of this heat in the middle of summertime. So we're happy our buyers got it, but you know, I don't know if the seller felt like they priced it too low or not. I was on the buyer side, so we shall see. Okay, pricing strategy number 2, which is probably a lot of you now, is pricing it too high. So if you price it high, what's going to happen is it's going to end up sitting on the market longer. I mean, the markets tells us everything we need to know, right? So as an agent, we're just the intermediary. So when you price it too high, it sits longer, and the offers that you get are definitely, it's a higher margin off of the price, always, almost always that I've seen. So example number 2, we had a listing appointment last week. It was a single family home in the 600 to 800 range, shall we say. I want to say they were 100,000 overpriced. So when we go in to give them that breaking news, like, you know, it's been on the market 30 days, you're literally 100,000 overpriced, you hired a friend, the friend is too emotional, that's another topic, but like hiring someone a little too close to home is not always in your best interest unless they truly can separate that relationship. That's neither here nor there. But, you know, they called us, we went in and said, listen, if your buyers that are looking at this home, they're going to be looking at your home, okay? They're also going to be looking at this home, this home, this home. Yours is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage. Here's one that's 50,000 lower, more updated, more decluttered, with an extra bedroom and an extra stall garage. Which one do you think they're going to pick? So when we sit down and talk pricing, a lot of times for a seller it is emotional, and that's our job to take that out of the picture. We're the professional, we're the advisor, we are the experts. So when I'm telling you something, it may not be what you want to hear, but it's going to be what you need to hear. And so our job is to advise and tell you what we really think it'll take to sell your property, because pricing really matters. So don't price it too high. Pricing strategy number 3, Goldilocks. Goldilocks was just right with the 3 bears. So just remember that. We love it when we price properties just right. So here's a real life example of pricing it just right. So the beautiful luxury beachfront home that we just sold on Manasota Key for $5 million, we priced it just right. The seller wanted to go a little over. I told her, no, let's just keep it here because it'll garner more attention. And that's exactly what happened. We actually ended up selling it for over asking price, and we garnered that attention right out the gate. Had the marketing right out there, all of the first class marketing to go along with all that, you know. And when you price it just right, people are going to be, the eyes will be on it. So whether it's a virtual showing, whether it's just looking online, or whether it's in person. We ended up, because we priced it just right, it not only sold for over asking, but within 4 days. So we were really happy. Our seller was an absentee owner, and they were happy. And it doesn't always work out that way. A lot of it is market conditions, location, of course, supply and demand. You know, working with an agent who is hyper focused, of course, in your local market. I can't express that enough. I could say that ad nauseum, right? So pricing matters no matter what's going on, whether it's COVID, whether there's a hurricane, you know, there's always going to be something. And, you know, I would say definitely interview a few agents. I mean, it doesn't hurt. Get with an agent that has sold in the neighborhood. Talk to a reputable realtor that's sold in your building, that knows what your competition looks and feels like, and knows the views and knows the interiors. That's how we know to market and price accordingly. So I hope that was helpful. Remember Goldilocks, okay? And if you're thinking of selling, we would love to hear from you. shaylatwit.com.